Now, finally, what sort of art would get you visiting your local gallery? Some nice watercolours? Maybe something modern? How about a fiberglass bust of Donald Trump's head? Well, that's what one curator has installed in her small gallery in the medieval town of Rye. She says she's been inundated with hundreds of visitors since the work went up about 2 weeks ago. Let's hear from the artist, John Humphreys.
Oh, it's been massive. To be like loads and loads of people coming in, intrigued, because they do look as if they're in a slightly different dimension from our own. It's just because your brain is not accepting what the information the eyes are giving it. They're all quite fascinated by it because they recognise Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump, but then they're confused by the optical illusion. So they're drawn into it, and so they find it fascinating.
One of the things that's really been noticeable is these kids, these little tots of kids of all nationalities recognise Trump. They come in, they're having selfies, their parents are standing back and then joining in. You know, whether he's a divisive character, which obviously we all feel our views on him, but literally it is just pulling, it's like a magnet.
I think if you sculpt a celebrity, it draws people's attention. And Donald Trump's, President Marmite, really, people either love him or hate him. And it becomes more of an intense observation when you look at the sculpture.
I'm sexy and I know it.
A friend of mine suggested that we create a QR code with an animation of the sculptures. So you put a QR code on a plinth, and the sculpture can either talk to you or sing to you.
I kind of think that, he is divisive. I knew that I'd get reactions, and it's not about my politics in any way. It just literally was. Actually, sometimes people need to have a little bit of a laugh. We're living in our times. To be fair, the Americans have apologised to me profusely. The Canadians have really laughed. Yeah, we know how that goes.
I'm sexy and I know it.
I mean, I wasn't expecting to be playing that on Sunday morning. What do you reckon then, Marissa? Would you like to have something like that in a local gallery to you?
Well, no thanks. I mean, the lady's completely right. We need to have a laugh at these things. And well done to the artist. I mean, good job there. But no, let's not have too many of those, thank you.
I suppose there's an interesting point behind it. Obviously, Trump is very divisive. You can't really imagine them doing something like, an Ed Davey, Rishi Sunak, Keir Starmer sculpture, can you? Do you think we need a bit of sort of sparkle, a bit of celebrity in our politics?
Well, I think you've set a challenge there for an artist out here, but no, I think we want some sensible people who get on with the tasks in hand and just to focus on the issues. Actually, we've had enough drama after the last few years with the pandemic and Ukraine and all these things that have happened in this country. I think we just need to be sensible and get on. And actually, Sunak is a quiet, serious guy who's getting on with the job. I don't need to see a bust of him singing strange songs.
Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose at the last election we had Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn, who, love them or hate them, they did provoke a reaction, didn't they? And turnout was pretty high at the last election, Helena. Do you think, is there a risk that people are just not that enthused by our current leaders?
I think it's great that we've got a statue that's generating lots of visitors in Rye, which is obviously part of the Hastings and Rye constituency. We've got a thriving art scene, and I'll always welcome things that bring more visitors to our area.
On that point on the leaders, though.
I think people are, when we're speaking to people, they're really glad that Rishi Sunak has called this election, because they feel after 14 years the Conservatives have completely run out of road and they want a change with Labour. And actually, I met somebody this week in Hastings who cared for Keir Starmer's mother and said that he's a really decent guy, he's really looking forward to voting Labour in the election, and he thinks he makes a great cup of tea. So that's the sort of thing we're picking up.
Nigel Farage did call him Blair without the flair on Friday, in the debate on Friday, didn't he?
I think what we've had, under the Conservatives, we're talking about joke figures. We've got in the Labour battle bus a lettuce in honour of Liz Truss, because when we're speaking to people, they have not forgotten what Liz Truss and the Conservatives have done to the economy.
No, but then people probably haven't forgotten what Tony Blair did to the country either, with an illegal war and all of those issues.
Let's give Benedict an opportunity to talk, because actually Sir Ed Davey has been having quite a lot of fun over this campaign. We've seen him on water slides, we've seen him falling off paddle boards. Is that sort of thing needed in a campaign?
I think it is. I mean, certainly for the Liberal Democrats, the purpose of those things is to draw attention to the significant issues, whether that's mental health or water quality and so on. So I'm not against I'm not against that kind of fun. I'm not against big personalities either. I think that that can be a very positive thing. But if those things, and I think unfortunately this is the case with people like Donald Trump and for that matter Boris Johnson, if those big personalities are detached from a kind of moral compass or from actual values, and then I think it becomes very problematic. And I think that what we've seen is that politics has encroached on people's lives too much in the last several years. It's been this kind of crazy kind of show of madness, and people are exhausted by that. I think they actually just want people to get on with it, let them get on with their lives.
We're just running out of time. Marissa, I'm interested in Nigel Farage and the impact of him. He's someone who a lot of people think does have a lot of personality. Are you worried about that?
I'm not so much worried about it. I just think it's sometimes distracting us from the other issues that we should be talking about as a country. We've got some big things to tackle and we should be focusing on them and not just having one conversation about a particular politician or one issue. Immigration is hugely important, don't get me wrong.
All right, I'm afraid to say we are out of time. Thank you so much to all of you, though, for coming in. Thanks to our guests. We'll be back next Sunday. Make sure to catch us then. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your weekend and the week ahead. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.